that case got kicked out the court. The courts was like, 10th Amendment, get the fuck out of here. So this is a continuation of a video that you might have seen first on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Substack, or some other place online. Maybe someone emailed it to you, where I responded to a person who said that Trump always gets away with it. And she was responding to a pep talk that I gave on TikTok last night to people who were crashing out over the January 6th fund. I wanted to just do a run through of the things that Donald Trump does not get away with, because I think a lot of people get lost in the shock and awe and the flood the zone campaign that he does and successful at it. Donald Trump is a master at manipulating the media, trying to control the narrative through the media and lawfare. At the end of the day, a lot of this stuff he does gets reversed or canceled or rolled back by courts in different industries, and you don't hear about it because it's like one after the next, after the next, and after the next. And he's constantly, they're playing up to their base. So, okay, I'm going to pitch stitch to this intro right here. The thing that I saw on the others that I posted on the social, in case you missed it, for people who missed it, is coming after this. And then meet me on the other side of this video continues. She said, girl, bye, he always gets away with that. I understand your frustration, sis, but it's categorically false to say he always gets away with it. And she is responding to a pep talk I gave on TikTok last night. Not sure if you got to the portion when I did run through all the things that he didn't get away with. But if you didn't, I'm going to repeat it now and make this a teaching moment in the daylight for those who missed it. So let's go through it. Donald Trump did not get away with tariffing his way through his administration because the Supreme Court blocked it. And so you know what's going on right now? They're refunding money. So that's one thing. He also didn't get away with going to his grave as a criminal convict because he was tried, convicted, and sentencing was delayed because he ran for president. But at the other side of this, the judge said he could still get it. So the jury's still out on that. He didn't get away with raping E. Carroll, maybe criminally, but $5 million he's still on the hook for. And then when he defamed her after that, a jury awarded her $86 million. At any given moment when she's ready, she could attach a lien to any one of his properties. We know he's been grifting and get paid. And he's asked to intervene 3 times, and 3 times they said no. So at least that's one thing. He also didn't get away with taking the voter rolls from the states because he sued 6 states. In every single state he sued, that case got kicked out the court. The courts was like, 10th Amendment, get the fuck out of here. So yeah, there's that. He also didn't get away with sending federal troops to all the blue cities to assist ICE. Not one federal troop assisted ICE. Now, he did send them to Portland, Chicago, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, and other places. Or DC. But when the Supreme Court refused to hear his appeal in the 5th Circuit, they all went home. Every single one. So he didn't get away with that either. His ballroom's been blocked, and when the Republicans try to ram it through a bill this week, they got stopped. So every single grant that he revoked and every law firm he tried to punish for whatever fucking reason, they all won. All the media organizations that he tried to force to whatever, their cases, they won their cases. The only people that settled for whatever reason, they settled. But if they would have fought, they would have won because he's a loser and all his cases are losers. So he's not getting away with that only unless they let him. He didn't get away with the Epstein files not being released because there's a lot of stuff we know about him and his friends that he tried to protect, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there's more to come out. And when we flip this, we want to get the rest of them files. So he didn't get away with that. He tried the Alien Enemies Act to deny people due process. And the Supreme Court, all 9 of them said, nah, you got to give these people due process. So he didn't get away with that. More examples. I said 10,000 more. That's right. 10,000 times that immigrants have gone before judges when Donald Trump and them had detained them, and they've won. The immigrants have won 10,000 times. It's been a year and a half. 10,000 times he's lost. They've won 1,000 times. That's a ratio of 9 to 1. So I'm not saying that the harm from his administration hasn't happened and we're not traumatized. We all are collectively traumatized. And I agree with people who say that we should be owed a class action lawsuit. We should sue him and his administration, and we should be able to attach all of their assets, every single thing that they've won, and divided them up amongst anybody who fills their paper in. And we need to get compensated out of their personal assets, like liquidate all their shit and pay us back for this trauma, pay us back for this attempted authoritarian coup, this dismantling of our democracy of 250 years, letting the Project 2025, whatever. So yeah, so that's what that is. So the 10,000 is of the final examples I'm going to give you, but you've seen that each time people challenge them, they sue one. Because why? If you follow me, I'm JJ Legal. One of the things I do is I follow the lawsuit filed against the Trump administration and those the Trump administration filed against others to take you beyond the headlines, to give you a sense of calm, to let you know that the judges and the court system are working despite the Supreme Court trying to throw monkey wrenches in the plan. But these are judges appointed by Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton, and those appointed by Donald Trump himself, George W. Bush, and Ronald Reagan. Yeah, so he's not winning when it comes to them, and anyone who challenges him actually wins. The key is just to challenge him, because they don't follow process and procedures, whether it's due process, whether it's a process required to revoke a grant, to fire someone, even a probationary employee, from revoking the temporary protective status, from removing refugees, from changing the laws. They just act. And so this gets me to my final point. And my final point is because JD Vance said something recently at a rally that is similar to something that Kristi Noem said at the beginning, essentially, where they are not really understanding or coming to grips with the fact that they're responsible for governing. They can't govern. And so they have not even realized a year in that it's their job to govern, because they've done such a poor job of governing, and they really don't know what their job is. So listen just what JD Vance said.
So I'm not going to ask you to agree with us on every issue, because that would be impossible. What I will ask you is, if you want to make America great, if you want to protect your jobs and hopefully build jobs in this beautiful factory, if you want to make our streets even safer, if you want to rebuild the American dream for the next generation, vote against the crazy leadership in Washington, D.C. Vote for...
And this is what Kristi Noem said.
Absolutely. I remember a time when Republicans were very careful about and worried about the government, particularly unelected people.
Well, we can't trust our government anymore.
Having access to personal data.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You are the government.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And how those two together is that everyone that Donald Trump put into place, essentially they came off of a casting couch, and they are used to being spectators watching the government and criticizing. Kash Patel was a podcaster. No diss to podcasting, because I'm podcasting now, but he never had any field experience. He was never an FBI agent. He went to law school, was a lawyer. He practiced at the DOJ, and then he read some children's book, but he's not qualified, and so he's not interested in running the job. That's why you see him taking his girlfriend, using a jet, even though he criticized Christopher Wray for that.
I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off. Just a thought.
The Gold Cup winning hockey team, and looking like unprofessional as heck. The release the report from Atlantic saying that he's just like, they had to ram in because he's just like alcoholic and all because he's not even showing up. You saw the woman who was Department of Labor. She just resigned recently because she was just like having relations with her staff, allegedly, reportedly, drinking, not showing up, using the money. Kristi Noem was taking pictures. RFK Jr. he don't know he's going. You ever hear him on hearing? You ever see him in the hearing? He don't know what the hell's going on. When they ask him questions, he just looking like, oh, he just denying stuff. And they're like, that's your agent. He's like, oh, for real? Never. They don't know. Linda McMahon, they gave her the orders to just dismantle the Department of Education. She don't know anything was going on. She's not quite sure. Watch her in the hearings. She don't know what's going on. Scott Turner, he don't know nothing about no HUD. These are just people that just audition. There was already a hot mic moment when the Project 2025 said that, we just gave them the marching orders. Like, we just gave them the blueprint. This is what the transition team, this is what you guys are going to do. So they just got the orders dismantled. Lee Zedlin's just doing all sorts of stuff. The person in charge of whether it's the Institute for Arts and Libraries, Museums, he's a lawyer. He's a friend. It's just, the person who's in charge of the art, there's an annual Olympics of Arts. The lady who got that job said she found out Donald Trump was passing out jobs in Mar-a-Lago, and she ran to go get herself a job. And her job before there was a pet shop owner. And I already told you recently about Madison Sheehan, who was on the crew team. And next thing you know, she is the wildlife fisheries wildlife fisheries and hunting director with an $85 million budget in Louisiana, because Corey Lewandowski who used to be Jeff Landry's campaign manager hooked her up with that job. She was 20-something years old. She didn't know what she was doing. And then she left there, and Corey got her a job as the deputy ICE director. And while she was there, she ordered a bunch of little wraps that says ICE on it. And one thing you know, if you're ICE or Border Patrol or whatever, you don't want the targets to know you coming with a band say, ICE is here, ICE is here. Dumbass. 2,500 vehicles that she ordered. I don't know who told her to do this stuff because she don't know what the fuck she's doing. She wasn't qualified for the job. Then she ran for Senate. Before she ran for Senate, in between that, she's caught in a scandal trying to like groom little young interns underneath her. So they're not interested. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're woefully unqualified. Talk about DEI. And so they're going around on behalf of a mediocre white man who got lost a job in the New York Times. Donald Trump, and they say any white person got denied something. So they are, yes, I got denied. And so they are actually not going on behalf. They normally go on behalf of people of color who generally are being discriminated against. They're going on behalf of mediocre white people who were told that they're responsible. They're supposed to get all the jobs. And any person of color gets the job, they're not qualified for it. So yeah, so they're choosing the EOC to defend him, and then the New York Times is going to win because they're going to stack up his resume, hers, and they're going to look at the receipts from the responses from the people from the interviews, and his going to be like 4 or 5, and hers going to be like 9, 10, and she's going to be like, why you think we should hire your 5'4" ass because you white? Get the fuck out of here. That is what's going to happen with that New York Times thing. They're taking away refugee status for people from like Darfur, from Sudan, from Afghanistan, from countries that are actually undergoing war, and they're giving it to white South Africans. Nothing ain't happening to them because they're just white, and he's trying to import more white people because the white people here ain't having enough babies. White supremacist administration, they're rogue, they're crazy, they're not interested in running the country at all. They're just interested in aggrieving white people. They're not doing the government. They shut down all the offices. The Department of Justice, FBI, they're not doing crime because Donald Trump's a criminal. He's pardoning the criminals. He told everyone, you ever work for me, I'm going to pardon you in advance. He for his birthday, he wants to do a bunch of pardons. He's a crook and a criminal, and he's just, everyone's around him is just a crook and a criminal. So I'm going to always tell you this. That's what you get because y'all refused. Y'all thought the black Indian woman was going to do this stuff, and the both sides, ain't no way you knew Kamala Harris, who under the Joe Biden administration, was going to do the bullshit you see going on Donald Trump. And you're disingenuous and stupid if you ever say that out your mouth again, because there's no both sides. It's the crazy ass shit he's doing and normal stuff. You know the stuff. That's why he can do the stuff, because they didn't even anticipate nobody be this damn crazy. Nobody knew he was going to be this crazy. Now we all know. But do I trust y'all if there's another woman of color on the ballot versus a crazy ass white man to not vote? No, I don't trust y'all because you're hard-headed. Anyway, I'm done. So that's the end of my kitchen podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Share this video widely. I'm still not, still my videos on here. Watch all my videos, binge my playlist, let people know. I'm still waiting for the algorithms to jumpstart me. Not happening yet. But it's coming soon, I hope. Change the League, each one teach one. Get my merch.